I'm Jess Barnett reporting for MRHS News. The Casto House, located in Birch Grove Park, is full of important information on the history of Northfield. I got the honor of sitting down with Miss Carol Patrick, who volunteered at the museum. We got to sit down and discuss the background and the function of the house, also known as the Northfield Museum. She first told me about all the history.
What we're in right now is called the Casto House. And it's called that because of somebody who lived here, a whole family.
Mm-hmm.
But
So this was their actual house?
it was a house. In fact, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. The ceiling is the original ceiling. This was the kitchen. And that is the original ceiling. But the Casto House was on New Road over where the credit union is right now, across from St. Bernadette's. And it was built sometime between 1790 and 1820. We have an 1830 sign on the outside of the house. The house was possibly built by a man named Clement Ireland, and then a man named Hosea Casto bought land there, 4.5 acres, and then he bought another 1 acre, probably for the addition to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then his son was named Joseph Casto, and Joseph's wife was, let me check something. I don't have her name. His wife died in 1995, and she lived here until then. And then they wanted to sell the property, but unfortunately the house was not up to code, like for electricity and gas and things like that, so they couldn't sell the house. So they very generously donated the house to us. And the man who did that was Charles Doerr, D-O-E-R-R. And that family donated it to us, and we were thrilled. And what we did was we brought it over. We had to move it from New Road over to here, this whole house.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was so nice to us. The church allowed us to go through their parking lot, even though they really needed to do some work in the parking lot. The electric company went ahead of us, lifted up all the electric lines, so we get the house underneath it. We had volunteers who built the foundation underneath, and then we put the house on top of the hole. And then it was actually the museum was closed like for 4 years after that, and then it finally opened up again in 2000. So from 1996 to 2000, the museum was closed. Well, we were getting everything ready in here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then of course that was that was an important year for us. 2000, the year 2000, everything was Y2K. So we wanted to get it done for them. So, but that was the story of the Casto House. And there was a young couple that lived here. They were a family, and they had 2 little kids. And
yeah, I saw the heights, and I was
that's
wondering
right.
about that.
Yes, that is the children who lived here. Their name was Price, and just like many other people have, they measured their children on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And when they sold the house, they moved to Sicklerville. And in 1914, they came back because their mother wanted them to see where they lived when they were little kids. And they measured themselves again, and there they were. So it was Brandon and Rebecca Price.
How long ago did they live here? Do you know
Well,
that?
yeah, when we moved, 1996. We moved here then.
Oh, and that's when they gave the house?
Yes, that's what we got, yeah. So, and they left then. But I think that's kind of neat to have that kind of record.
Yeah,
and see, some of them are way down here, little tiny.
Yeah.
Probably a 3-year-old there. So, and we have that covered with some protective.
I also got the opportunity to ask my own questions about the house and its function. I can start off with asking, how did the whole museum get started?
Well, in the other room, we have what used to be the library. And it was started as an office building on the corner of Wabash and Mill Road in 1915. And then it was moved to next to City Hall in the 1930s, and it was renovated as a WPA project during the Depression. And then it was moved to the back of the museum, the back of City Hall, where we had a little museum there. Now you have to understand, the library is just one little room.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was the library. And in 1969, the new City Hall was built. and they moved the library to the city garage over here on the corner to use as storage for tools. And then we rescued it and moved it back to City Hall, and we turned it into a museum over there. And that was in the 1970s. And then we moved it over here in 1985. Let me check my date on this. Okay, it was moved to Birch Grove Park in 1989, and we saw a wonderful opportunity to
So the
use
back
it.
room has just been moved everywhere.
Yes, it has. In fact, I read a little book called Library on the Move many years ago about all the different places it's been. So,
That's weird. Like, what is the purpose of just this whole museum?
a couple of purposes. First, of course, is to show people what the history of Northfield was for 200 years. It used to be called Bakersville, and then became Northfield in 1905. And it has 200 years of history in here, because the people who lived here were farmers and shipbuilders and ship captains and things like that. And so we have a lot of the things that people have, and they've donated to us. The other thing is when people want to downsize or move, they don't want to throw away their treasures, but they don't want to take them with them either necessarily. So they give them to us, which is wonderful because those things would be lost forever if they threw them away. And so we're like a depository for things that deal with Northfield and Bakersville.
What is your role in?
I'm here every Sunday afternoon. I'm a docent, which means I'm a volunteer, and I tell people about the museum. So I'm here on Sundays. Our hours are 1 to 3 on Sunday and 1 to 3 on Wednesday. And my role is basically giving tours to people when they come in to the park. On Wednesday, we have 3 people who come in. Roy Clark, who is the curator, and Joyce Pullen, and Eleanor Webb. And they do more of the work involved, like cataloging and setting up displays and things like that.
How's this like funded?
Well, some of the money comes from the city of Northfield. We also raise money through flea markets that we have twice a year. Basically that.
What kind of attendance do you receive?
Well, it depends. Last week I had a man and his wife who came here from Egg Harbor City, and they stayed about an hour, and I gave them the grand tour. He had lived originally in Northfield. And then later on I had 3 girls who were they were in 8th grade from Mill Road School. Mill Road School is the name of the school before it became Northfield Community School.
Were they old students or they
No,
now students?
Now. They'd always wondered what was in here. And they came in, they stayed about an hour too. And we spent most of our time over in the schoolroom, and they loved the old typewriter, which made me tell the curator, we've got to get some typewriter ribbon for these typewriters, because they had such fun writing messages back and forth to each other on the typewriters.
Yeah.
But, so it depends. I mean, it depends. You would think that like on a nice day like today, people would come and they'd come to the park and stop in. But they're too busy going to the park and using the playground. Sometimes my best attendance is on days when it's kind of rainy. And it depends. We had an open house here in May. We had 80 people. Yeah, so it just depends.
You do like school field trips? And...
We have the Boy Scouts come, the Cub Scouts come. I have a group coming in from Stockton in March. It's an adult class. Yeah, we do that. We have little field trips.
If interested in visiting the Casto House, they are open Wednesdays and Sundays from 1 to 3 p.m. or by appointment. For more information, you can call 609-383-1505 or visit their website under Recreation at cityofnorthfield.org. I'm Jess Barnett with MRHS News.